Hey everyone, as always, Dylan Miller Prospect, and welcome to another episode of Tuesday Night Gold Panning Fever, episode number 187, where yet again we're going through more Goldbay. This should have just been Goldbay month. I don't know. It's just gonna be Goldbay. So let me catch up on chat really quick. And yes, I know I set it for 7 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock. I don't know why. I did it late yesterday, and I don't know what I was thinking. Shane Brithero, so Shane's probably not going to be here for an hour. Joey Brown, how's it going? John Gear, thank you for letting me know I was an hour off. HD, thank you for being here and being a mod. I appreciate it. Stephen LeBlanc. Michael Reed, I was trying to find your Paydirt the other day. Someone asked me they were looking for a Paydirt seller on eBay, and I could not find your link. If one of my mods, or if you want to post a link, maybe my mods will hyperlink it and make it positive so I can bookmark it. B&B Prospecting, how's it going? B&B Paydirt Prospecting, how's it going? Kristen Reed, the other half of MCD Prospecting, thank you for joining the show. SRIP63, Farmer Joe Bob, thank you for joining the chat, appreciate it. Adam Weiss, thank you. Who else is here? Donna, thank you for being here and being a mod. I appreciate it. James Stoddy, thank you for being here and being a mod as well. Shane Prothero, you're back. Good. I was worried that you might have got thrown off by the fact that I had the show set an hour from now when it wasn't. So, Mandy's Candy, thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. So, there we go. I think I'm all caught up in chat and I can open up my OBS and pop out chat and all the other good things I got to do. One of these days, I will probably set up my laptop and everything so it's already pre-configured for everything. But, well, there's only show 187, so, no purpose in having it done yet. There we go. Set live chat. There we go. It's listed on eBay, Micro 15. Okay, I knew it was Micro 15, but I was looking the other day and I could not find. Maybe you didn't have anything up for sale. I mean, it probably wasn't the other day. It was probably like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. But just somebody had emailed me and they sent me a couple links to stuff they were looking at on eBay, and they wanted to know like what questions to ask and this and that, and they were just bad sellers. They were just bad sellers. And I was like, just run. Don't ask them any questions. Just run. Somebody sent me one the other day. Oh man, I might have to look it all up, send them some more questions, and make an actual video about it. So a guy had a bag of Paydirt up on eBay, and one of my friends sent it to me, and they're like, "Oh, this looks like a great deal. Do you want me to get it for you to review?" And I looked at it, and the way he says it, it's like, 5 ounces of mud and dirt. And he's like, once you extract the mud and the gold, you should have about 1 gram. But he doesn't say you'll have 1 gram of gold. He just says you'll have about 1 gram. And then it was only like a $30 bag of Paydirt. And I was like, well, there's no way there's a gram of gold for $30. Nobody's that lazy. Not when it's $100 a gram. I was like, I understand sometimes Paydirt sellers, they're just trying to reach it. But anyway, so I email and I'm like, dude, is it 1 gram of what? I'm like, can you tell me what it's 1 gram of? And he wrote like 8 paragraphs about how great he is, about honest he is, and about how great Paydirt is, and how most people don't understand how gold is extracted from this and this and this and this. But he never answered the question. So I emailed him back and I'm like, dude, can you just answer the one question? What is the 1 gram I will recover if I buy this bag of Paydirt? Is it gold? Is it dirt? Is it mud? And still another like 4 or 5 paragraphs of nothing. It's just amazing. I'm like, man, these dudes will do anything to avoid telling the truth to just sell a bad bag of Paydirt. Email me, Kristen. Email me anytime. Dylan at Miller Prospecting. You just type in email and chat here and it should pop up. Yeah, just email me anytime. I'd be more than glad to help. I can't tell you the number of people, Paydirt sellers, that send me emails with their descriptions and say, hey, tell me what I need to change in my description to be able to get a better score. I've had vendors like that before. Actually, the same vendor. Yeah. I can't find it on eBay. Yeah, one of the things that sucks about eBay, it used to be so easy to find a Paydirt seller. And they made it so difficult. So you can't find, because they want you to search. They want you just, instead of saying, oh, let me go back to, Micro 15 to buy some paydirt, they make it so difficult to find you that then you're like, well, I'll just look for paydirt. And then you end up finding somebody else and buying it. And that's what they want. And then they want you to just keep buying and buying without actually going to the same people over and over. Wheeze and Geezer, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. Who was that? And thank you for being a mod here as well, Weezen. Cajun Bullion, how's it going, brother? No. All right, I think I'm caught up on chat and everything. Yeah. So eBay, I need to bookmark. So usually what I do is if there's a good seller on eBay, usually I just add their product to my cart. And then if they sell out and this and this and this, it'll always be in your cart. It'll just show it out of stock. And then I can just click their link and update it. And I guess like a couple of months ago, I was trying to clean out everything on eBay because I was getting ready to do my taxes and stuff. And I deleted everything. And I don't even know why. I was just like in my head, I was like, this will make it easier. And it didn't. So now I'm trying to find all this stuff that I have to put back in my cart. All right. Yeah. And see, that's one of the problems is like you can't, I mean, I guess you can favorite people. I'll have to add you as one of my favorites on eBay. So Jason G, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. So, and again, reminder to everyone, I will probably try to do this a few times. Make sure if you haven't, and you are a Patreon member, because I see all my mods on here, and they're all Patreon members. If you haven't guessed the gold weight yet for the gold guessing contest, make sure you do. If you're a paid member, remember I have some bags of paydirt that I will be giving away to the members that are closest. For the $25, $79 tier, I have 2 bags of paydirt. For the $10 tier, 1 bag of paydirt. And for the $5 tier, I also have 1 bag of paydirt. And if you just want to join my Patreon for free, if you cannot afford to become a paid member, do not worry. You can still guess the amount of gold that, the video's on there. You'll have to look for the post. But here it is. This is what I am giving away for the $5 tier. It's a little bit of Mexican gold with my card. So pretty cool, I think. It does have, all my address and stuff on the back. You can see all that. And here, I didn't have my OBS open, so I don't know how good you can see that, but there you go. A little bit of Mexican gold right in the center. So that is a first. That is the first official Mexican gold card that I have. So, and Donna, thank you very much, Donna, just throwing it out early. I'm a paid member, not blue. Well, that's because you have to be a $79 tier member. I don't just make anybody blue. It's the $79 tier are kind of like the crazy old prospector, which is probably why they're called that. So they get a little extra, niceness to them, so they don't just go full tilter. No. So, but yeah, only my $79 tier are mods, and once they leave being a $79 member, then I'm going to boot them off. Yeah. Yeah, you don't know how long I have been working on this, and it's still not right. Unfortunately, it's still not right. When I originally I have them in a gold-plated dime format too. So I have one for a gold-plated dime. These will be the future Tuesday giveaways. Right now we have the silver bar from Cajun Bullion, which is somewhere. Where is it? That's here. Right now we have this that we're giving away. Is it upside down or not? For the Tuesday night giveaways. But once this one's gone, we're going to be switching back to gold-plated dimes. So every single show I can give one away to somebody. And that's just because gold's getting too expensive. I don't want to have to do an 1/8 gram of paydirt and then make it last 2 months. So, so in the future, all Tuesday shows, I think we got like 4 or 5 more weeks. Then after that, we'll all be gold-plated dimes again, but just in a sweet little card now. So, but these cards were so hard to get made. Originally, when I had them made, or the design for it, there was supposed to be you can't barely see it, but where the dime is, there was supposed to be a gold circle at a certain dimension. It had to be a certain dimension, so a dime would fit in it. I could punch it out. I had to buy a very expensive punch, not really expensive, but $100 punch just so I could punch a hole through these cards. And the diameter had to be perfect. And we went back and forth with this Chinese seller, or I went back and forth with this Chinese seller for probably 2 months until they finally said they had it perfect. And they sent me the cards. I paid for the cards, and I got 200 cards and they're wrong. The hole is the wrong size. It's a little bit too low too. So it's kind of a bummer, but I'm not going to get more made because, getting gold foil cards is kind of expensive. So, you know, $150. At least I beat the tariffs. So I beat the tariffs, unfortunately, because Trump and them, even though they passed the tariffs, they weren't actually collecting them. So it did on the package show that there was a tariff due, but since they weren't collecting them, I didn't get it. So I probably won't be able to afford cards again for a while. So I'm just going to have to use these for that. You know, I can use them for both the gold-plated dime or use a punch out and just put some gold in it. So we'll have to see. So, and I will be sending these to every one of my Patreon members. If you're already a Patreon member, you've been one for a while, I will be updating everyone, sending them a new one. It's just going to take a while because it's all a manual hole punch and, you know, a manual card feeder to seal them. And I've been kind of lazy with it. I just wanted to make sure it worked and stuff. Probably over the next couple months, if you're a Patreon member, you'll be getting one of these. So even if you're an old-time member, you know, and you already have a gold-plated dime, these will just be a little bit better. So I won Golden Dragons 57. That's awesome. That's so cool. So I'm glad to hear that, Sam. And yeah, so, and speaking of gold-plated dimes and winning stuff, gold is just going crazy. I looked earlier today. It was up to 110 something yesterday when I looked. And I looked a little bit earlier today and it was at 109.39, which is absolutely crazy. So I really think things are going to go back to, Paydirt sellers are going to go back to those 1/8 gram bags of Paydirt and the 1/2 gram bags of Paydirt and stuff like that. But there is some good news. Even though gold is going up and it's going to make Paydirt more expensive and sellers are going to have to start selling smaller and smaller amounts of gold in their Paydirt, I think, so people can afford it. The good news is shipping won't affect it as much because with gold being 110, probably soon to be $120 a gram, it doesn't make as big of a difference when you're shipping now. You could go back to shipping 3-pound bags of Paydirt for $10, you know. So then it won't be so bad. I think if sellers figure out where they can start sending back where you go back to the old, you know, 8 years ago, every bag of Paydirt you bought was pretty much 3 pounds. It was 3 pounds and a, you know, 1/4 gram, 1/8 gram. I think it's going to go back to that. I think we're going to have to see that going back crazy. You know, it is crazy, Ed. So I think we're going to go back to that where we're going to start seeing sellers with 3-pound bags of Paydirt with a 1/4 gram of gold in it, you know. So it won't be as much gold, but it'll still give you a ton of fun panning. You know, you have to pan out a lot, which will make it worth it a little bit. So it'll be interesting seeing how things go over the next couple of months. I'm hoping gold settles down, but I think I was talking to somebody and it's definitely going to go over 3,500. But, you know, there is always the worry. Gold does occasionally have that, you know, where they peak out and then it crashes. I just want to make sure I'll make sure I don't have too much on the shelves of wonder when it crashes. So, yeah. I was reading something the other day where they were saying they foresee a 35% crash. I said, oh, no. That's too much. I could deal with like a 20%, you know. If it goes back down to, you know, 2,800 or something like that, I'm okay with that, but not a crash that big. So, Mentally Corrupted, how's it going? David Danduran, thank you for joining the show. Alaskan Assassin, thank you for joining the show. Mega Dog, how's it going, brother? Thank you for joining the show. And anyone, if I miss you, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for joining the show. Sean McClellan, thank you for joining the show. I like bigger bags. Yeah, I mean, I will say, you know, I understand totally. And if I was a Paydirt seller, I would not sell 3-pound bags of Paydirt. There's a reason why my Patreon bags of Paydirt are 6 ounces. It's just shipping is horrendous. You know, if you're shipping a 6-ounce bag of Paydirt, it averaged me about $4.75 to ship this. $4.75 to ship this to one of my Patreon members. But if I went to a 3-pound bag, it would cost me about $12. So it's about 3 times as expensive to ship priority mail as it is to ship, you know, this. And then, you know, that really kills ROIs for sellers. You know, I'm giving this away to my Patreon members, so I could have probably go with the ROI. Maybe one of these days, maybe this year, I will look into maybe upping the size of the bags. I would have to change out my product bag, which I don't really have right now, but maybe I will change it up. Just because it's free to my Patreon members, I can have it. But if you're a Paydirt seller, you got to watch every single penny to keep that ROI as high as possible. And when all of a sudden there's an $8 cost, you know, so if you're selling a bag of Paydirt for $130, then, you know, if you add in $8, that means all of a sudden now you have to sell it for $138, you know. So I totally see why Paydirt sellers have gone back down. Priority flat rate, 1085 up to 70 pounds. Yeah. So, you know, It just depends on the, there's some tricks around priority mail that you can get it a little bit cheaper in shipping, but, you know, because generally, like if you look at it, most of the sellers who are still selling big bags of pay dirt, especially if you see them advertising, are scams. You know, like the guy who has the 50 websites. Every one of his bags is 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, because he's putting no gold in them. If you put dollar worth of gold in a $30 bag of pay dirt, you can afford to ship it any which way. You can overnight it and still make money. So I will hopefully see some sellers. Like I said, if you're going back to a quarter-gram bag of pay dirt, I think people won't be expecting as much in the ROI thing. And I think it's going to go back that way if gold doesn't settle down pretty soon. You know, if it just keeps going up or if it stays steady at, 120%. So, but I'm hoping, I'd like to see some, Gold Nugget Sales did have the Weekender, which was really great. I really enjoyed that one. I did see yesterday he was sold out, or actually today I was looking up his stuff and I saw he did sell out. So that's kind of a, hopefully we'll start seeing some more sellers, some big bags. I know Vendetta, I think most of his bags of pay dirt are pretty big, 2 pounds. Goldbay is still doing the 3 pound. Brian Thomas Gold is still doing the 3 pounds. So it's good that some are. It's just, I think we're going to start seeing less and less gold. I think we're going to go back to the days with the quarter-gram bags and 1/8-gram bags, which is funny if you think about it. When gold was $40 a gram, they had sellers that were selling 1/8-gram bags of pay dirt. Like almost nobody back in the day sold 1-gram bags. It was 1/8 of a gram, quarter-gram, half-gram, and every once in a while, like the big boy would be 3/4 of a gram or maybe even a 1-gram bag. And nowadays it's all 1 gram, 3 grams, and 5 grams, which is kind of crazy. And there's very few sellers that have half grams in comparison. Like Gold Nugget Sales, he has a half-gram. He has 2 different half-gram bags. But then all the rest out of, I think, his 18 products are 1 gram or more. So, and back in the day, it was the exact opposite. The vast majority of them were under 1 gram. And then that was the big boy. The 1 gram was the big boy. So, AU Alchemist. I'll have to look. I think I have him in my cart. I actually think I have him in my pay dirt cart because that name sounds very familiar. I'll definitely here. Let me add my notes. AU Alchemist. I know who that is. Just because I know the bag. I've seen the bag and I've seen his stuff on there. So I'll definitely will. He'll probably be sold out by the time I'm done here because you put it in chat and now everyone's going to be running. Brad Thompson, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. Joey Brown. Who else? I thought I saw someone else joining in, but I guess not. So, but yeah, so for today, Goldbay right here. I was supposed to be doing Gold Baron. I told everyone last Tuesday that this Saturday would be a Gold Baron video. And I didn't do it. I got the pay dirt thing. It's right here. It's a full grammar. I was supposed to review this. It was supposed to be reviewed for this Saturday. And as you can see, I'm still holding it and it's still sealed. So I obviously failed at doing that. So I didn't want to do the other bag that we're going to be doing. So yeah, I got behind. My daughter, I know I've probably said it a few times and stuff like that. I've been having some repairs done in my house, and my daughter is in the process of trying to buy a new house. She's got it under contract right now, but there's been some major issues with the house. So I've been at the house more often than I've been here pretty much, meeting with contractors and stuff like that, getting estimates and stuff like that. So I got busy, and the days that I was going to shoot the video, I didn't, and I was at my daughter's house instead, or her house that she's trying to buy. So I just didn't get it shot. I'm going to be shooting the video tomorrow, so it will release next Saturday. So this Saturday, I will have the Gold Baron, and then next Tuesday, I have a custom bag of pay dirt from Gold Baron. So a lot of gold, either Gold Baron or Gold Bay. So this month is gold ... month. But for today, we're just going to do more Gold Bay. This is just a 1 gram bag. This is a leftover from the championship. Because like I said, when I did the championship this year, I just bought bulk of every single seller, just assuming that they might get through to the championship. So I have a lot of 1 gram bags left over. I still have this one. I still have the Brian Thomas over here. I have RJ's Paydirt up on the top of the shelf. So I still have a couple just still left over from those I need to burn through. You know, I have AU Alchemist on my do not buy from list. Your mileage may vary. I'll definitely look at them because I would be curious. Maybe I'll get 2 different secret shoppers to buy from them. So, you know, what's up, PA Patriot? What's up? It's soon. I got 2 more years. I think like a year and a half before I can start advertising it. You know, when start fundraising. Chris W, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. But yeah, so let me write this. And James, sorry, and yeah, and thank you everyone who showed up to my garage sale this weekend, which is what I did instead of shooting a video. There was a lot of early birds there. I really wanted to have more stuff at the garage sale, but most of the stuff I have here, I didn't think, I have a couple more sluices that I could have sold, but I haven't reviewed them yet. And I don't want to really sell something I hadn't reviewed because then, in a year from now, I'll be like, dang it, now I got to buy it again and review it. So, but yeah, everything went quick. I don't have any gold. Unfortunately, I didn't have any like real extra gold so I can make some bags of Paydirt. But I will say I bought some, or I'm in the process of buying some new bottles and getting some new labels made, because if the plumbers crush me, they're coming May 1st. May 1st plumbers are coming, and if they just totally just ream me out and just I might have to sell some Paydirt. I might have to pull some emergency gold out of different spots, like Shelf of Wonder over here. I might have to on a weekend pan a lot of stuff out that I hadn't planned on panning out for a while, and sell some Paydirt. So, but thank you to everyone who showed up for the garage sale. I really appreciate it, and grabbing everything and buying it up. I think I still have the only thing that didn't sell, which somebody had said they wanted, but then they changed their mind, was the Buddy Sluice. I still have the Buddy Sluice, the little compact one. I still have that. So if anyone's interested in that, just send me an email, let me know, or send me a message on Patreon. So it wasn't a total sellout because I still have that, and then I still have the cat too. I mean, I was even willing to drop the cat down to $500,000, but no, nobody wanted that. Trying to make deals and wheels and deals with the cat, but nobody wanted the cat. So I still have the cat and I still have the Buddy Sluice if anyone's interested. And I'll take open offers on the cat. So he is eating me out of house and home. Lord Shadow, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. All right, Ortiz, no problem. Thank you for joining in. I appreciate it. You want it, PA? You want the Buddy Sluice? All right, it's yours. Just send me a message on Patreon. We'll work out a price, whatever you want to pay. No, the cat did not sell. I tried to lower the price on it. I would have taken $1 for the cat if they paid for shipping. For $500,000, I will throw some gold. I will give you a bag of gold cat litter. Even for $500,000. So. Right. Gold Baron, how's it going? We were just talking about you. I was just talking about how I still haven't shot your review and how I suck. Never getting stuff done. And it really sucks too, because I really wanted to do this. I was so excited to do this, especially because I really wanted today to be panning out. I've been shooting all, this whole month waiting to do the custom bag, and I couldn't do the custom bag, so we'll be doing it next week, so. Should I just send a message about the sluice on Patreon instead of on here? Yeah, I probably should have just, Yeah. Well, who knows? PA's kind of flaky. Because I am asking $1 million for the sluice. So PA, you owe me $1 million, but. Yeah, I don't know why I posted everything for sale. Oh, just because somebody had said they wanted it. They sent me a text and said they were interested in it, but then later on I figured out they were talking about a different sluice. So, but I appreciate, and if you did purchase something from the garage sale, it has shipped. It all went out yesterday. I'm behind on sending everyone tracking numbers. I will send tracking numbers tonight. I need to write a note. Send tracking numbers. But yeah, if you bought Paydirt or something else during the garage sale, it all shipped out Monday. Every single box. The Vivor furnace went out. The sluices went out. And I'll send tracking numbers tonight. So by the time everyone gets it, they'll have the packages tomorrow probably. So Paydirt relisted on eBay. Well, there you go. And Ed, so we're going to start panning. Going to go do this. Does it sing? I will make that sluice sing. If you send me $1 million, I will make if anyone wants to, I'll just tell you right now. If you send me $1 million for the cat or the sluice, I will make the sluice sing. I will even make the cat sing. It will have gold Paydirt. It will have gold cat litter. $1 million. No, sadly, the sluice does not sing. Unless you consider just the sounds of water traveling over a dream mat singing, then yes. Didn't get a chance to buy anything. Yeah, like I said, though, I might if the plumbers just totally read me out, which I'm really, really scared they are, because plumbers are just, they have you over the barrel. They cut something out and say, oops. You're like, okay, what are my choices? Have you pay me astronomical amount to fix my plumbing, or have just human waste drop into my basement? and so I'm worried about how much they're going to charge with all this stuff that I need fixed, but I've been putting it off long enough. So next month I might have to sell Paydirt. It will be very limited. I think I'm going to have like 10 bottles if it comes to that. So, but I will warn everyone so everyone can be waiting with their fingers in their wallet. So oh, I'm not going to approve that. A3, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Scott Junkins, thank you for joining the show. 12th man, Brett, thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. Oh, and I will say one other thing. If you helped out with the Wounded Warrior Project, your Paydirt is long gone, and I'm sure everyone's gotten it. And if you helped out with GS Prospecting, he just did his raffle, and the two winners were Wrench and A3. So Wrench and A3, Wrench might be listening. He tends to just be listening and not actually in chat. Your Paydirts did go out Monday. So A3, if you want, I will send tracking tonight. Wrench, I'll send tracking tonight as well. Bob Peterson. Yeah, my knowing my cat, he would probably break out and find his way back home and, just to aggravate me. So, yeah, and I'm so happy for everyone. Thank you, everyone who helped out GS Prospecting and Brian Carson. It's just absolutely wonderful. Everyone in the community that helped him out, Yeah, the usual top winners. Yeah. So, but all right, let's go and start panning. So, pan out some Goldbay. This is only a 1 gram bag, so I'll be curious what's in there. I can't even remember from the championship what kind of gold was in there. So, Middle of the Indiana Postal Service. Yeah, I'm going to send you tracking tonight. I'm hoping it'll get there because you're not too far from me, but that's usually the ones that take the longest or the closer you are. If I ship it to Russia, it'll be there overnight. But if I ship it to, the person next door to me, it'll take a month to get there. So, human waste. The only reason I think of that too, Joey Brown, is because I was watching I was reading reviews on plumbers. You're going through all the reviews, and they had one that was super long. So I was like, ooh, I got to read this one. Drama. And there was somebody complaining about how they went underneath the house, gave them a bit, or they signed the contract and everything, and they paid them, and then they refused to do the work. And the reason the plumber's excuse was they said they offered to give them their money back, but they refused to do the work because the plumbing pipe underneath the toilet had been broken for 10 years. And so the entire crawl space was nothing but poop. I mean, they were like, we're not going in there. And they told them that they had to have, like one of those specialty companies come and pull all the dirt from underneath their house. And I was like, oh, Lord. But all right. Goldbay time. Let's shrink down the ugly mug, get to the water, start panning. Who else? I thought I saw somebody else in chat. But maybe not. But okay, if I didn't say hi to you already and you're in chat, hi to you. Thank you for joining the show. Now we're going to shrink down the ugly mug. We're going to start doing some panning. So let's shrink it down. Nope, that's not the right one. We got a real face cam. There you go. And there you go. That's not it either. What is going on? There we go. Panning cam, face cam. There we go. One of these days, it's only show number 187. One of these days, I'll have it all figured out. So, but there you go. Let's get to it. Move some stuff around. Get my gloves on. Get my tablet open, which doesn't seem to be. Hey, Wrench, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. Like I was just saying a few seconds ago, your Paydirt that you won from GS is in the mail, so I will be getting that. And I do have some bad news. If you want, once you get my package in, or if you want me, I will send you my email. My address again if you need it. But your bag broke. Your bag busted totally open. My shelf Paydirt busted totally open. So if there's any chance you can send me a sticker, I will try and find a bag to put it in and put the sticker so I can put it on my shelf. But it just, the clear part totally separated from the bag itself. I mean, luckily, you were smart and you double bagged it, so it didn't spill anything, and I still have all the dirt and everything. But right now, it's not appropriate for shelf display. I need to put it in a different bag, so. So, all right, where is, I need a pan. All right, for the Goldbay, so we can open that up. Jeffrey Button, how's it going, brother? Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. No worries. Don't rush. Don't rush. It's just, it's just sitting on my shelf. Yeah, when I saw it, when it first came, I could hear it moving around in the box. I was like, uh-oh. It sounds like the bag busted. But then when I was looking at it, I didn't see a tear or anything, and I thought the seal on the top had just opened. And I was like, okay, that's no bad. I just dump it all back in and close it back up. But nope, it's at the very bottom. It was like here, the seam right here, just all the way. So it is crazy. But it's a good thing you did double bag though, see? I mean, it wouldn't have mattered if I would have just dumped it all from a box into something until I could fill it, but but don't buy anything if you don't need to. Like, if you don't have another bag, don't worry about it. I will find a bag on Amazon or something. I got to buy some new bags soon. So, where I will repurpose one of the ones I have on my shelf. I have like 30 Vendetta bags. I can always dump his out, put your sticker over Vendetta. So, Yeah. Yeah, I typically don't vacuum seal my packages just because the way I ship them, because I ship them in the manila envelopes and but whenever I sell anything that's not in the bags that I use, because the bags I use are really thick, but they just I heard from the company that I buy my craft bags from that they're going to make thinner bags now. I guess to cut costs from, tariffs and everybody overcharging and everything. So I might have to start vacuum sealing my bags too. Hey, Richard, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Some dusty stuff. You taller mining, thank you for joining the show. But how much taller are you? Oh, there you go. Yeah, if you just send me a sticker, I'll have to remember that. Because I planned on panning yours out, Ortiz, so I will just move yours up. Yeah, so all you have to do is send me a sticker when you get it. Because Ortiz has the same bag. See, Ortiz has the same bag, so I can I have to put the sticker over the Josh Ortiz on there, but and I have to remember not to cut the bag, but I don't know. Either that or maybe I'll find a bottle or something. I'll find an old clear oil bottle or something. If you just send me a sticker, I'll find something to put it in, to put on the shelf, so it'll be one and only. Because it's still going to be your dirt, still going to be your gold, still going to be your sticker. Pretty sure 511. TM, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. I know it's kind of funny. So I was always, whenever I'd go to the doctor or anything like that, I was always 5'11". And then after I had my knees replaced, I went up to 6 feet just because, my knees were kind of bent from, not being right. So I was like, woohoo. But then I went to the doctor the other day and they're like, oh, how tall? And I was like 6 feet. And they're like, oh, stand up here. And they're like, oh, you're just barely hitting 6 feet. I said, no. I cannot be shrinking now. Like, no, don't start making me shrink now. Like I just got to manage to start telling people I was actually 6 feet. Couple little pieces in here. So this is, again, only a 1 gram bag. Yeah, no worries. Like I said, it's not a rush. It's sitting on my shelf of wonder, and when I get it, I'll fix it. And Hmm. Hey, Dina, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. Pickle Prick, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. TM, I think I said hi, but if not, hi to you. And if everyone's wondering, tonight we are panning out more Goldbay, but this is just a regular bag of Goldbay. This is not any more of the Mexican gold. I'm actually ahead of schedule. Almost always when I do my Patreon Paydirts, I am making it the day of the live show or the day before or the day after. I actually have all my Patreon Paydirts already made. This month is all that Mexican gold. So if you join my Patreon late, I have no more Mexican gold. You will just get normal stuff. It only matters for the $79 tier, but the giveaway Paydirt, the $79 Paydirt, everybody got some Mexican gold this month. Only 22 thumbs up. See, those are the people that don't want to give the giveaway, which one of my mods is going to post a hidden link right around now. So they just don't want to win, I was 6 feet until my back. Yeah, I mean, my posture probably isn't the best because I'm getting fat again because I've stopped going to the gym because I'm lazy and cookies keep beating me up and holding me down on the couch, telling me, oh no, you need to dip us in the milk and eat us. You can't go to the gym and stuff like that. So, oh, nice little piece, little bitty picker, really light picker, but makes a little bit of noise and you can pick it up. So. There we go. Thank you very much, my mods, for the hidden, And if you're a new mod, that's pretty much the only thing I have is exclamation hidden and exclamation rules. I don't have a lot for the mods to do other than to keep everyone from yelling. Dorothy Richardson, thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. I appreciate everyone who's joined the show tonight. I really do. So this will be the last of my Goldbay for a while. It's like 3 weeks in a row of Goldbay. But I've got no more on my shelf and no plans to buy any more for the year. So it's always good to visit Dave, though. I will say I am kind of bummed that he moved his operations and somebody else is selling his Paydirt because it just doesn't feel like Dave stuff anymore. Walk softly and carry a big stick. I remember those old movies, the Walking Tall movies. And I remember they remade it with Johnson or whatever. It wasn't very good. But I remember the old Walking Tall movies. Those were always so good. No mail, Mary. No mail. Did you actually ship it, Mary? Did you send him a tracking number, Mary? Faster at typing in my brain. I do that all the time. You don't know how many times like my daughter will send me a text and I'm like, okay, it's not just like a, you can't just reply with an emoji or, a hi or a bye or I love you. And I got to type a sentence or a paragraph and I will type an entire paragraph of like just typing away. And then I'll look and it's just not one word is spelled right. Half the sentences don't make sense. It's just like, oh my God. My fingers are just, and like, yeah, nothing. I'm sorry to hear you're having a bad day, Wrench. I hope things get better, John. I really do. You're a good guy. Nobody needs a bad day. Everyone should have good days, My first paydirt at 2,500 an ounce, and now it's to the moon. Oh, man. Yeah, it's going up there. I was talking to somebody the other day and I said, man, I wish, because when I first started my channel, I was, scraping and searching the couch for coins every single month to fund my channel. And so there was never any paydirt on a shelf. There was never any of that, I didn't even have a sticker board or anything. I didn't have stickers, anything on how much paydirt, if I would have just, because like now what I try to do is, like at least once every 3 months, 2 or 3 months, I try to add a new bag of paydirt to my shelf behind me. And if I would have just kept that up for, the last 8, 9 years, adding, 4 or 5 bags of paydirt to my shelf, how many of those bags would have been at $40 a gram? It'd be like double. You just watching everything go up. So a little bit more gold. So far, I've been gold in every pan. It's always good. Miller Outdoors, thank you for joining the show. I appreciate it. George Ann, thank you for joining the show. I appreciate it. And anyone I missed, thank you for joining the show. I appreciate it. So fun to pan, but harder to purchase. Yeah, that's as I was talking about earlier in the show. I said I think you're going to start seeing a lot of sellers go back to smaller bags of paydirt, gold-wise, but more dirt. Because if you're putting, if you put a 1/4 gram in a 6-ounce bag of paydirt, it's just not going to be fun. It's just not going to be. You might get a decent ROI because they saved a little bit on shipping, but if I'm going to be, not going to have a lot of gold at the end of it, I would prefer panning a lot, I'd rather pan out 3 pounds of material. And you can actually, you can fit a good bit of paydirt into a priority mail box or envelope. And you could fit about 5 pounds. So 5-pound bag of paydirt, even if it's only got a 1/4 gram of gold in it, you might not find gold in every single pan, but you'll be panning for a while. So you're breathing, yeah. It's definitely wouldn't be able to complain if you weren't breathing, Rich. Yeah. Like they say, things could always get worse, but you really hope they don't, because then that kind of means then you're not breathing to repair stuff. Insurance issues with meds, it's never going to change. That's always going to be one thing. And then even if so my insurance plan for, I think last 5 years, did not pay for the vast majority of my medicines. So every month I was, luckily most of my medicines were pretty cheap. But I did have one medicine that I have to refill every 3 months. That was like $120. So it was like $40 a month just to refill this one prescription. And then this year they were like, oh, and they're sending me, we're going to start covering that. We're going to pay that. We're going to pay this. And I was like, oh, that's great. But then they cut so many other things out. It's like, well, I'd rather pay the $40. I really would. They cut my dental in half. And I'm like, what? No, I liked my dental where it was at. I could, get my stuff worked on. And, so I probably lost $100 a month worth of the extras that they were giving me before just so they'd pay my $40 prescription. I was like, no. I'm like, you're trying to make it look like a good deal, but it's not. Cajun Bullion is smart. He got a 5-gallon bucket from us. There you go. Not many sellers selling buckets. You're probably the only one that's still doing buckets. You and Felix. Almost everyone's gone to the jugs because they're easier to handle nowadays. I know Vendetta was doing 5-gallon buckets, but I don't even know if he's still doing them anymore. It is so much money to ship. I don't know, what was it? Lynch used to do the 2.5-gallon because they originally started with the 5-gallon, then they switched to the 2.5-gallon screw top, and those things were a beast to open. I don't know if anyone ever had one of those 2.5-gallon buckets, man. Once they were sealed and they got shook up, the dirt would go in between the cracks of the screw part, and it would just, you would have to beat on that thing for hours and hours to get it open. Oh, there's always some nitwit. There's always 100%. As long as if you leave your house or open your email or open up Facebook, there's always somebody gonna try and upset you. You want to buy a 5-gallon bucket of my garage? Yeah, email me. Let me know how much you want for it. I mean, it depends. You know, if you're like me and you say $1 million, then maybe I might, I might have to send you an IOU. But yeah, I might even shoot a whole video on it for 5 gallons. So no, they didn't, TM. No, they didn't. So, and I mean, I'm in my 50s, so when you get in your 50s, just looking at your teeth, they chip, or old cavities fall out, and I just had one of my front teeth has a big cavity on it, and I just had to have it replaced just because it was 10 years old. And whenever they replace a cavity, they have to drill more out, make it more sensitive, and then you're gonna have to be closer to a crown. But no, they did not tell us. So, and then the one thing that sucks too is in the old policy, the way I used to have my old policy, is once you logged in, you could see how much had been used up of just your overall insurance, how much had been used up in your dental and everything else. And now they hid all that. So now you have no idea. So it's like before I could say, oh, wow, it's, November and I still have $1,000 left on my teeth. Let me just go tell my dentist to do something, replace something, or, here's a crown I was thinking about getting, give it to me. But now it's hidden so you won't know. So it's just, insurance companies. So, and I apologize if I miss anybody in chat, if I miss anybody asking me something. Just ask again. 5-gallon bucket with 1/8 gram of gold. I won't say I've never panned out. I've panned out some big amounts of pay dirt with no gold in it. So it wouldn't be, at least I would find something. So, I panned out, I think the most I've panned out is one of my friends. They went somewhere and they rented a trommel or a high bank or somewhere. And they didn't want to go through all their cons. So they sent it to me, and he's like, oh, will you pan it out and get me all the gold out of it? And it was 25 pounds. So it was a big box. It wasn't 5 gallons, but it was, it was about a third of a 5-gallon bucket, maybe. I don't know. It was 25 pounds of concentrates. Pan out the whole thing. There was only one piece of gold. One piece of gold. Yeah. Wait, hold on. Let me see. $5-gallon bucket down to 50 or 75. Yeah, if you get the jugs though, like everybody else, then it's $25. I mean, it saves 25 or $50. I mean, it's not as much material, but Chasing Cheddar, thanks for joining the show. Appreciate it. Hey, Mike, how's it going? I sent you an email. If you ever get time to read my email, I sent you an email. 3 quick questions. I always got to hit you up and ask you for stuff. I was trying to watch your video today, but I was running so late today, I didn't even get to go to watch it. I watched the first 5 or 6 minutes of it to see your new photographer. which I told you I would have done the job. And if you'd have told me the job included free wine, I would have joined the show. So I would have done the work for free. Um, my tablet is freaking out and does not want to. Oh my gosh, does not want to open up chat. Oh, great. Now I got a commercial. What's up, Wesley? Thank you very much, brother. I just hope the plumber ain't watching. If the plumber's watching, I'm in for it. They're like, oh, he's had a garage sale. Oh my gosh, my tablet, I got it wet. I just touched it with my. Oh my gosh, here. Hold on, give me 1 second. So don't ask me anything in chat, anybody. My tablet is freaking out because I just got it wet. There we go. Oh my gosh. Hey, Gregory Littleton. There you go. All right, got chat back up. So if I missed anybody, just re-ask the question again. You taller. There you go. But yeah, one of the questions I asked, and you could answer that one here, is how did the Weekender go? I saw it was out of stock. And also, I will let everyone know, if you've been thinking about getting some of that Australian Paydirt from Gold Nugget Sales, I just happened to be looking at the website today, and I see he is down to 2 bags. He is down to the last 2 bags of the Big Red. So if you've been thinking, if it's in your cart at Gold Nugget Sales, and you've been saying, maybe I should get that Australian Paydirt, 3 grams, you know, now would be the time, because I was got my credit card out. I was like, oh, maybe I should buy both those bags just to get them. You know. But unfortunately for me, they would have just went in a regular vial with the Patreon Paydirt, and so I would have needed more to make it a full month of Aussie Gold for my Patreon members. But I did see that you were down to 2 bags, so. Yeah. I figured somebody would be unhappy about it, but as long as it sold pretty quick, so. Yeah, but I saw the Big Red is running low on stock, and what was the other one? The Falls Paydirt. You're down to what? 24 bags of the Falls Paydirt. I was just playing on the website today while I was eating lunch, so. Yeah, I'm the same way. That's me all the time. Yeah. Because even when I'm not broke, somebody comes along and makes me broke, you know? My son tells me, oh, let's go to Wendy's for dinner tonight. And I'm like, oh, Lord, there goes $40 for 2 people. Yeah. I'm like, you sure you don't want like cheap pizza? I'm like, we can get pizza for $10, $20. Nope, I want Wendy's. Yeah. Lots of new gold on the GNS website. Yeah, I didn't even look at the gold. I looked at the gold, like, what was it? Like last week I looked at some of the gold, but the only gold I buy for my kids has to be heart-shaped. And I didn't see any. I'm still mad that Mike didn't just save all the heart-shaped gold for me, because there was that one Arizona nugget. I think it was 3 grams, 2.98 if I remember right, that I wanted, but I didn't get to snag up because I'm too broke all the time. Dale Felsman, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Wesley Hatful. Yeah, I was talking about that earlier. I think, like, you know, in case anybody's late in the show, I don't mind talking about the same thing over and over. I am getting old, and old people, you know, we tend to say the same things over and over. Rink is Carnage Crew. How's it going? Oh, YouTube sucks. Yeah. But I was talking about that when I first started my channel. Which was 9 years ago. 9 years ago. I just hit the 9-year mark in April. This month. April 14th, I think, was 9 years. The average paydirt seller did not sell 1 gram bags of paydirt. The vast majority of them sold 1/8, 1/4, and ½ gram. Those were the 3 sizes. And then some would be like the ones that would say, oh, in case for the big spenders, we have a 0.75 bag and a 1 gram bag. That was it. That was for 90% of all sellers. I mean, you would have some like Dave that were the outliners that sold, 1 gram bags and a 3 gram bag. But nobody really sold 5 gram bags, 3 gram bags, or anything like that. It was all custom until Lynch Mining came out. And then when Lynch Mining came out, they pretty much are the ones that popularized 1 gram bags of paydirt. But if it's crazy if you think about it, back 9 years ago, Gold Spot was about $36, $40 tops a gram. And most people were buying 1/8 gram bags, 1/4 gram bags. Those were the most popular. 1/4 gram bag, 1/8 gram bag. Because you could buy it cheap and you could get into the hobby for $20. And now gold's $110, and the most popular is a 1 gram bag. And I think it's going to change. I think we're going to start seeing some sellers with some 1/8 grams, 1/4 gram bags of paydirt. They just got to figure out the shipping. Yep, 1/8 gram, Mike. That was Life of Gold. How's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. But yeah, that was... one of these days, I'll have to go to the Wayback Machine and look up some old sellers and see if I can find some old website pages showing what they had. But like, if you went back to like Tom's Gold, Dirt, Jimbo's Gold, a lot of the old sellers. Who are some of the other old sellers? Man, I can't even remember some of the old sellers. But yeah, they all was. You would look at it and they'd have like 3 bags of paydirt. It'd be 1/8, 1/4, ½ gram. Those were the 3, and it was so funny because back in the day, you'd get a ½ gram and it'd cost you, it'd be $20 worth of gold and you'd be paying $40 for it, getting a 50%. And that's why up until recently, I've always said that I thought a 70% ROI was a good ROI on a 1 gram bag of paydirt because they were rare. They weren't that often that you got, So it's just weird how, people started buying as the community grew, people started wanting more and more gold. But now, unfortunately, gold is going up and up and up and up because everybody's hoarding all that gold on their shelves. Refotress, how's it going? Oh, epoxy sucks, bro. Working with epoxy, man, you cannot take your eyes off of it or you'll get a bubble in it as soon as you do. Tomcat Josh, how's it going? David Carlisle, thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it, and appreciate everyone joining the show. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. And if one of my mods wants to drop the hidden link, don't forget, tonight we are giving away, drawing a spot. I think it's spot number 3 or spot number 4 for the silver bar I got from Cajun Bullion, a 1.6. So once we get 7 names pulled, we'll do the giveaway. Yeah, chatty group. I'm having a really hard time keeping up with chat tonight. But yeah, back in the day, the ROIs were pretty dismal, which is why Lynch Mining took off. I mean, Goldbay always had really good ROIs. Goldbay had really good ROIs, but the problem with Goldbay is Dave never advertised. Dave did not go out of his way to let people know that he sold paydirt or anything else. He was too busy mining and making money off of gold. He just made there just wasn't that many people buying paydirt to make it worth his time. I mean, he's still I guess to him, there's still not worth his time, but it wasn't until Lynch Mining came out and even then, Lynch Mining was kind of getting popular, but when they did their Black Friday sale, it just blew up. And I think that was like the perfect storm of tons of people entered the community. There was a seller doing a huge sale. People were getting 90% ROIs on average when people before that were, you were lucky if you got a 50% average on most paydirts. And then if you got a really good bag of paydirt, you'd get a 70% ROI. So all of a sudden you got a seller pushing 1 gram bags, 90% ROIs, and that just changed everything. But now, gold 110, if it does not drop, we're going to start seeing the gold nugget sales, the mini me, 1/8 gram bag of paydirt, 2 ounces. Now down to 1 Aussie bag. There you go. I'm telling you, people, if you want that Aussie bag, there's only one left. And you want to definitely snag it before I get back up to my computer, because, Humble Stacker has it going. Thank you for joining the show. Triple A Rockhound, how's it going, brother? Yeah, because originally today I was like, oh, I'm gonna look at Culver and check out his Paydirt, and Culver is sold out again. Just totally sold out. So I was like, wow, I guess I'll go hang out on Gold Nugget Sales. Check out his website and hang out with him for a while, and then I was like, oh, I wonder if I could get a full ounce of Aussie gold. I was like, nope, 2 bags available. I was like, oh, that's. How did subscribers do subscribing to Paydirt companies? It's just an option where they would do it. A lot of the shopping carts have a subscription service on them. No, I mean, some companies still do it. There's not as many that have subscriptions. I think Brian Thomas Gold still has a subscription service. The Gold Baron still has a subscription service. Those are the only ones I know of. Yep, those bubbles are forming, Refotris. While you're here, all those bubbles are coming out. They're like, ooh, let's go to the top. Oh, that sounds awesome, Shane. That sounds really cool. I'd love to see a picture of it. Send me a picture of it. Here, let me send my email. I would love to see a picture of that, Shane. I was looking at containers this weekend. I was trying to find some new containers for my next Paydirt I might sell. In case my plumbers in case my plumbers are watching my show and have seen my shelf of wonder. And I have to remember to put a lock on this. The plumbers are down here doing all the repairs, because if they come in here like, oh, look at this, we could charge him a whole bunch. He's got a studio and everything. I gotta make sure I lock it and tell them, oh yeah, that's just storage. Got them early February. So that was, gold was like what, 92, 93 in February? 94 tops. But yeah, that's, you already made 160, you already made $200 on it. Just sitting there waiting, being lazy. That's to say, it's good to be lazy sometimes when you're paying it up. Hey, Mark Shelton, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. All right, a couple more pieces, so. All right, last little scoop. Man, I don't know if I'm getting too good at panning or Paydirt's just getting too easy. But these panning things aren't taking very long. I don't know. My first edition Vendetta Kalishi bag, yeah. Yeah, some of the bags on my shelf, so I think the cheapest bag on my shelf that I bought was, I think, $75. So I have a couple Paydirts on my shelf of wonder that were $75 that I paid for a 1 gram bag. So I got a couple on there, but then some I overpaid for. I overpaid for the Lynch mining ones. I don't even think the Lynch mining ones have made it yet. I think I overpaid so much for those Lynch minings. I need gold to go up to like 125 for me to actually get like a normal 90, 80, 90% ROI off the Lynch mining. So I still need those to go up in price. But I knew that they were super hard. No. Gregory Littleton, how's it going? Gilbert, how's it going? Yukon, yeah, Yukon Alleys is always some tough paydirt to go through. And it's normally wouldn't be. So the way she makes her paydirt is she puts in like the pound of material that would be pretty decent and normal panning, nothing super hard. But it's the teaspoon that she puts in of the super cons that is the really tough stuff. And then that's where all the super fine gold comes from, which is why you find more than the 1.1 that she normally adds. So no, and sadly, Yukon Alley is totally sold out. I was at her playing around on her website today, and she's totally sold out, which is a real bummer. Ugh. Trying to look for, I was trying to look for sellers to see if they had new bags, try to figure out some new videos to shoot in the future. Because right now have all my video content scheduled until July. And in July, I was going to try and do 30 paydyrts in 30 days. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that because I cannot find enough cheap paydyrts. And the problem is if they're cheap paydyrts, the only way I can find a whole 30 cheap paydyrts is if I go on eBay. And then I'm going to be paying $30 for a bag of paydirt with $1 worth of gold in it, which means 30 bags. That's $900. You figure $2 or $3 worth of gold out of 30 bags. You know, it's a huge loss of money that I don't know. I would be able to recover from that. You know, I'd have to just do nothing but 100% ROIs after that for the rest of the year just to break even. So I might have to rethink that plan and just try and find some really good cheap paydyrts. You know. Give it to Donna. I got 2.75 grams in my 1 gram bag. Got a new bag today from Baron. Oh, did you get the what's the new bag called? Is the Gold Baron still here? What's it called? Skull, lead skull or something like that? Death skull. That's all. You had a new one. So I do have a custom bag. So this Saturday I am doing a review on Gold Baron's paydirt. And then next Tuesday we have a custom bag. Which I really like this. I really like that he actually had a label printed or a bag printed just for the custom stuff. I really like that. So it's a shame I have to open it up and tear it up to do that. Willing to guess at Golden Egg Sale Australia. He said he had 1 bag left, so 12th Man Brett. You might want to run over there if you're interested. So there we go. This is the gold from Goldbay. But I think I'm going to dump this in a pan because I still want to pan some more. So I think I'm going to do Dave's right-hand man. Because I still have paydyrts left over from the paydirt championship battles. So I have a 1 gram bag from Brian Thomas. So Dave's roommate. I think we're gonna pan that out tonight as well. So last week was a short show. I don't have to do anything later tonight except for my kids, so I have till 8:30. So I have another hour I can sit here. So I think we're gonna pan something else out. Little piece of gold taped in the back cover. Oh, maybe it had a hidden in there was treasure map. All right. Yeah, it is. There we go. Get all the golds out of here. Yeah. Not it's going into Tuesday tailings. There you go. Iron Death, that's what it's called. I knew it was something like foreboding. But okay, there's the gold from Goldbay. I need to put this somewhere so I don't accidentally throw it away. I will put it here. And we're going to pan out the picker bag, the 1 gram picker bag from Brian Thomas Gold, which is Dave's roommate. So, North 49 RC, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. Appreciate everyone that's here tonight. Make sure, though, if you're here, you're hitting that thumbs up button so YouTube will send me a big fat check. So I heard if you get like 20 likes, they send you like $1 million. And don't forget, if you haven't already, if you go to the hidden video that Nightbot just posted, that one of my mods posted, if you go there, I will be picking a name later on today to enter spot number 3 of 7. And once we get all 7 names filled, I'll be giving out this 1.6 ounce bar of silver I got from Cajun Bullion. So to thank everyone for joining these live shows. So make sure to go leave a comment. And if you want, you could say something really nice about me. You could make an offer on my cat, who I had listed for $1 million at my garage sale, that nobody took up on, nobody bought it. So, you know, feel free to make me an offer. Just ate a bowl of chili in 3 minutes. Funny story. So today, you know, I woke up and I had a lot, you know, I had stuff to do, but I was like, you know, I'm going to go. I did all my stuff I had to do today early. And I said, well, you know what? I was like, let me go to Walmart, because usually I go after the show. I was like, let me go to Walmart. I got at Walmart at 1:30, but I forgot to bring my list. So I must have walked. I would get to the checkout and I'd be like, oh my God, I forgot, you know, lemon juice. Walk all the way to the back of the store because lemon juice is in the back of the store. Got all the way to the front and then I remembered, oh yeah, my son wanted some coconut water. All the way to the back of the store. Well, all the way to the front, yeah, we're out of butter. Walked back to the store. By the time I left Walmart with like 20 things in my cart, it was 3:30. So then I came home, I puttered around, started setting this show up and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to sit, make myself some tuna fish. I make a little tuna salad, eat that. And I was like, you know, then I'll sit back, watch some TV, watch, you know, an episode of a show and come do my live show. Bam, I looked at my clock, it was 5:30. I was like, oh, well, so much for that. Let me just shove this can of tuna down my throat. And it's whatever you want it to be, Lord Shadow. Oh, you know what? I don't understand it either. You know, if you look at it, Target pays their employees the exact same amount as Walmart. But Target, they tell you, wear brown slacks, wear a nice red shirt, you know, wear this. You know, they don't even tell them they have to be like super neat about it. Walmart, you see people walking around in pajamas. Like today when I went there, they had so many people that were like just talking, and I'm like, why are they just sitting in the middle of the store? And I'd look and they'd have a Walmart badge on, and they're just wearing like, you know, slippers and this and that. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then, like you said, they rearrange the store every month. So you're like, okay, I'm gonna go get some milk. Oh, not here anymore. It's on the other side of the store. Yeah. But sadly, that's the only place I can shop, or Aldi's. But Aldi's lately has just been getting the absolute worst vegetables and stuff. Fruit, it's all just been rotten. I don't know who they're getting their supply from here, but it's just absolutely garbage. You know, I went there like a month ago and bought like, you know, 3 different things, like 5 pounds of potatoes and like 2 other things, and it was all rotten by the time I got home and looked at it. So dirty hands, heavy hands. I just tried Dylan, I couldn't find it on there. Oh, is he sold out? Is this for the Australian stuff or the cat? They need to sell Walmart t-shirts. Yeah. You know, like I always tell my daughter, I was like, it's so funny that, you know, Walmart, just by being as, you know, ratty as it is the only reason Target makes money, because they both sell the exact same products. But Target charges $1 to $2 more on a basic thing. So if you go to Walmart to get a Kraft mac and cheese, it's going to cost you $1.50 at Walmart. And it's going to be next to some employee who's got bad BO, didn't brush his hair or his teeth that day, and is wearing slippers, but he's got the Walmart badge on. But then if you go to Target, you're going to pay $2.50 for that same mac and cheese, but the employee next to you has brushed their hair, brushed their teeth, and is wearing, khakis and a red shirt. Like, what? No. It's just crazy. Does anyone else put a black light on their pay dirt? No, I haven't done that in years. I used to do it when I first started, but my batteries died on my black light camera, and I kind of just put it away, and I haven't used it again. But that's when winch mining used to always have the chance of finding like rubies and stuff in their pay dirts. I used to always do it, That's another thing. You never see too much of that in pay dirts anymore, Like back in the day, you'd get rubies or actually like stuff, Nowadays, it's all, if a pay dirt seller tells you they're putting in, gems and stuff like that, it's all like the Afghani, just chips and nibs and nothing good, Or it's, fish tank aquariums gravel, Rich. I hate when I do all my shopping online. Well, yeah, see, that's usually what I do. So most of the time, the vast majority of the time, when I tell everyone on my Tuesday shows that I got to go to Walmart afterwards, it's to pick up my food. I just order it all. I do it all online, and I have them bring it out, just put it in my trunk. I don't need to talk to anybody. I don't need to go in the store. But I have to schedule it, and just my Walmart, the way they close and stuff like that, is I always have to schedule it for 9 o'clock because it's the last time that they can do it. So that's why I always have to leave my show 8:30, make sure I can get to the Walmart and stuff like that. But today it was just because I had time to kill. I was kind of like, well, this will let me just sit down after the live show and, relax and watch some TV and eat. But yeah, it just, and it's, just, everything Walmart does is it's like they're trying to tell you that, like, we don't like you. We're going to disrespect you. Even though we need your money and we know you're going to shop here because it's cheap, we're just going to make it things, like the people that are the shoppers, like the people that are like the shopping cart people, they like park their cart in the middle of the aisle and just stand there. And you're just like trying to get past and you're just like, what kind of a-hole does that? Like what other job could you do that in? Like if you're a mechanic, and let's say you're going to work in the middle of the day and you park right at the gate and you just block the entire gate. Nobody's going to come visit you. You're like, oh, I wonder why we're slow today. And Walmart does that. It's just like, if the aisle is blocked, 99% of the time at a Walmart, the aisle is being blocked by a Walmart employee, It's just crazy. But they know they've got the price, well, not anymore either. The price just used to be so cheap that's why everyone had to go there. But now, they don't have that buying power anymore, so. I just had the Buddy Sluice, but I think PA called for it. It was just I don't even think it's down. I think I left it upstairs. It's the little one that's, using the banjo pan, the little 5-inch mat. I love watching fish tanks on TV. I think Walmart pays. Yeah, they don't pay bad considering what you're doing there. I told my daughter the other day, my son, I was like, if I get tired of this YouTube channel, I'm going to get a job at Walmart. I said, I'll tell him I'm a student. Just work 2 days a week, make a little bit of money and not kill my disability. I was like, I'll be a greeter at the door for $15 an hour. But I would probably end up getting in trouble telling another employee to go brush their teeth or something, like go brush your hair, you got BO, here's some deodorant, yeah, China's plus those tariffs, but well, plus it's the same thing. It's COVID. I will tell everybody, COVID ruined this country. COVID just, and the problem with it is COVID ruined this country, and politicians are too scared to do anything about it, because these are the people that put them in office. Because you will never become president if you do not suck up to the people that are going to write you $1 million checks to fund your campaign. But the problem was COVID came around, and every single seller, it didn't matter what you sold, managed to raise prices astronomical amounts just so they could say, oh, we don't have this and this and this. If you look at any company, you can Google any single company that sells any type of food product, anything, and look at their profits before COVID and then look at their profits after COVID. And it goes anywhere from like 50 times to 5,000 times profit. I mean, could you imagine being a company and saying, hey, yeah, we're making $5 million a year profit, good deal, we're making $5 million. And then COVID hits, and all of a sudden now you're making $50 million a year profit just because you jacked up the prices. That's it, And then they never lowered them. So it's just, and like I said, politicians are scared to say anything and just go against these big companies. And what's funny is they'll say it, like Biden is one of the reasons why I didn't vote for Biden. Well, he dropped out this time, but it was one thing that really upset me about Biden was when he said he was going to go after the companies that were profits had increased that much. He said he was just simply going to add a tax, and that would solve it. If a company goes to doubles or triples their profit in 1 year, then they should be taxed twice or 3 times as much. And then therefore they won't want to rip off people. But of course, it's just, as usual, just, speaking something and not doing anything and just, but, and it doesn't matter, Democrats, Republicans, independents, or, it doesn't matter what party, they're all dependent on these rich people. So, we're just all going to keep paying money for food and stuff like that. So, I think I said it, I think it was about a year ago. I think I was talking in one of the live shows about a year ago where I said you could tell something was getting ready to happen because all the food places, all the fast food places started adding potatoes to their menu and trying to make you think it was a luxury food. Like Taco John's. Now they have potato tacos. Potatoes are a cheap food. There's no way. If you're eating a beef taco for $2, why am I going to buy a potato taco for $2? It's just they're trying to get people used to eating potatoes again as your main, they're trying to tell everyone. They're telling you, hey, look, pretty soon we're just going to be having potato soup every breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah, Rona just destroyed everything, It just, people were anti-mask, mask, and this, people dying, and I think, sadly, I think it hurt our country more than any other country just because, like I said, in most other countries, you're not allowed to, raise your prices just whim and willy. They need government approval to do it. So, but... What you gonna do? That's why we all need to pan gold to keep our minds from going crazy. That's it, Brian. I'm Irish. I love potatoes. Potato soup is my favorite soup. Potato soup is my absolute favorite soup. I have 5 cans. I keep stock of 5 cans. And I tell my kids, if stuff starts getting bad, I will have more than 5 cans stockpiled underneath my cabinet. Because potato soup is my go-to soup. In my emergency MRE supply, so I keep a 5-year thing of emergency food, or is it 1 year? It's a 1-year supply of emergency food. I keep just, you never know when the world's going to go over. Mount St. Helens going to explode, and chain reaction, every single volcano is half of it's probably potato soup. Bags of, 5-year, 10-year supply of potato soup, because I love potato soup. Potatoes I can live without, but potato soup, I love potatoes. So, but they're not a rich man's food, is what I'm saying. Is if you're going to go to Taco Bell, you don't order potato tacos. I mean, they're just trying to get us used to it. Mm. Mm. Why do we love gold so much? There's so many reasons. It's beautiful, takes your mind off everything, and it makes you crazy at the same time. Yeah, and don't forget to go to Miller Prospecting's website. We're going to be looking at that site in a minute. The TP, yeah, that was. I think that was the funniest part about COVID, is just what people were stockpiling. Like, I remember going to Aldi's like one day just to buy my regular food, because I was like, I'm not going to be crazy. You know, if I run out of toilet paper, you know, I can start cutting shirts up. You know, paper towels. There's lots of things you can do. But, you know, the amount of people that were buying, like, have a shopping cart with like 30 gallons of milk in it and 30 loaves of bread. It's like, the bread's going to mold and milk just sucks after you freeze it. You know, it's like, and do you really have that many deep freezers that you can store 30 gallons of milk as opposed to 300 pounds of beef? It's like, you know, buy meat, don't buy milk. You know, you can get powdered milk and live off of that if you need it, but you're going to run out. It was just absolutely funniest thing what people were just hoarding. Really? Is GNS down? That is crazy. That goes to figure. See, I try to get him a couple sales and he just crashes his website. His $2 a month host. Oh, Taco Bell is horrible. My son loves their, like, whatever it is, their French fries from there, though. Anyway, a couple little pieces of gold. I'm not seeing any gold in here. I know this is supposed to have, I think, 2 or 3 pickers in it, so we'll have to see. You can freeze milk and bread. I know you can, but what I'm saying, though, is, so if you have a deep freezer, a deep freezer would probably hold, most people's deep freezers are what, like 30 quart, 50 quart? You're going to put 30 loaves of bread in a deep freezer as opposed to 30 pounds of meat? If we ran out, if COVID would have just ruined the country like everyone was thinking, we were going to be out of meat, milk, everything. And it was. When you would go to the grocery store, they'd be out of milk. They were out of butter. They were out of ground beef. They were out of everything. So it's like, why would you stockpile bread and milk? The two things that you could easily live your life without, but you need fruit and vegetables and you need meat, you know? It was just crazy. Like, they weren't stockpiling potatoes. You could have made potato soup and frozen. It was just the weirdest thing of what they were. It's not that you can't keep it. It just, that would be like the last things I would have chosen. You know, like toilet paper. Why stockpile toilet paper when you could stockpile something else? That would be handy. Cows don't drink milk. No. It's funny you say that. I was watching a video. I think it was on TikTok, and I think it was actually because you posted something that was a TikTok link, and I went to the TikTok link. I watched it. Then afterwards, the next video was actually a cow drinking its own milk. Where the cow had its head like stuck between it, was just going to town drinking its own milk. So I guess they do. That's why God made venison. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of venison, but you know, if it came down to it, you know. I mean, I'm from Louisiana, you know, there's nutria rats, all kinds of things, so. And you know what the funniest thing is? I remember, I remember when the whole TP thing went down, and there was like none in the store. Like, they would had to have like one person standing in the store to hand you only one pack of toilet paper at a time. It was funny. But you could go on Amazon's website and just buy it. It's like, okay, There you go. Because one of my buddies sent me an email. He's like, dude, I just sent you like 30 rolls of toilet paper. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I just got it off Amazon. And it was like the normal price on Amazon too. I was like, okay. Free shipping. Yeah, okay. I think I might be pouring all the gold down into the Tuesday tailings because I'm not seeing any gold here. I might need to start paying attention to chat. Stop paying attention to chat and start paying some more attention to Paydirt. Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's what I'm saying. There are certain things where end of the world are going to be more important than milk and bread, you know. Especially since COVID wasn't affecting the cows, you know, so they were still going to be there, you know. 308 Prospect, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. I appreciate it. I'm looking at Mountain St. Helens right now from Vancouver. I remember I read an article once because, you know, when I used to live in California and we were thinking about moving and we were trying to figure out where we were going to move to. And originally we were thinking about moving to Seattle. But then I started looking and it was just like, I think they said that Oregon, well, not the worst place to live, is the state that can be affected by natural disasters. It has the highest chance because it's got a ocean on one side that can have tsunamis can affect it. You have earthquakes can affect it. And then they have on the other side, you have a volcano. So they're like, you're pretty much at some point, you're just going to get destroyed. And that's not even, and there are other things like forest fires and things like that. So we didn't choose there. I wish kind of we would have, because, you know, not a huge fan of Indiana, but not gold compared to Oregon, but, you know. I sell freeze-dried water to stock. You joke about that, but I guarantee you during COVID, you could have sold it. You probably could have sold it. You know. I mean, because what is it? There was the, what was it? I want to say he was a priest, but I might be wrong. But there was a guy in Florida. I'm almost positive he was a priest, a preacher, that was selling the COVID a cure. He had a cure for COVID. The FDA went after him and told him to stop telling people it was a cure because they were going to really come down hard on him. And then he took out a PPP loan because he was going out of business because he was selling a cure for COVID. And they just nailed him. He went to prison for a long time because, you know, not only was he lying, saying he had a cure, and it was just essentially bleach or something in water, is that then he took out a huge PP loan and bought like a Ferrari, like a couple Ferraris and a mansion. I make TP. Yeah, there's always never a shortage of anything. It's just like eggs. There was never a shortage of eggs. Production from eggs, you know I have to bring up my eggs, HD. You know it. There was never production in anything. It's just companies make it up. People put it in their mind that there is. You know, if anything, there's just supply and demand is you can't put it on the shelf fast enough. That's it. Because people are saying they need 4,000 rolls in their bedroom. All right, finally seeing a pan with some gold in it. Chef V, how's it going, brother? Sounds like a necessity. Yeah, Ferrari. You know what sucks? So after the PPP loans came out, and it was a giant fiasco, and, you know, it was... the PPP loans were the biggest. I mean, I understand why they were done. I understand they were done to try and help people out. Same thing was that everyone got the checks for $1,200. It was trying to help the country out because of, you know, COVID. But the one thing that really sucks about the PPP loans is, so after the PPP loans, I guess it was about a year or two later when they started realizing how many of them were just crooked people taking out loans and buying mansions and cars. And I decided, you know, I guess it was during after Trump left office. So I decided to start looking because you can look up. They have websites where you can look up every single PPP loan, and I decided to look up all the PPP loans in my state and just to investigate them and look at them. And I found 3 PPP loans that were such obvious fraud, and they were well over $1 million. Each one of them took out way over $1 million. But the only way you can report them is you can either report them and get nothing out of it, or you can hire a lawyer to report them and try and get 20% of it. But then you have to pay the lawyer. And it's like, why should I have to pay a lawyer 10 to 20 grand that I might get back, 200 grand later on if they bust these people and take the $1 million from them? And it's just absolutely ridiculous that you can report. They tell you, oh, report it. Well, I'm going to report it. That's your job if you can't find it. One of them was for $10 million. It's a woman that owns a couple businesses in Indianapolis. And on her Facebook, you could see that right before her PPP loan, she was living in a nice house. She had a nice business. She lived in a nice house, probably 4 or 5 bedroom house. After the PPP loan, she lived in a mansion. She was driving a brand new Mercedes. Her husband was driving a brand new Mercedes. It's like, and I want my 20% from the federal government, but they won't give it to me. Yeah. But there were some funny ones. Like there was one right in this Newburgh. I was looking at Newburgh, and they had a guy there who got a PP loan for $20,000, and he said he had an ice making business, and he put the address down as for the ice making business, and it was just his house. That's where the check went to. And it's like the dude's making ice cubes in his freezer, and he's telling people that's his business. He got a $20,000 PPP loan, and he didn't have to pay it back. They just wrote it off, didn't have to pay it back. And I know the house, I know that where the place is, and I was like, this dude just got a $20,000 check for nothing. It's just crazy. Yeah, and some of them make you really, really mad. Like the quarterback from New England, like him. What did he need a $10 million PPP loan for that he never had to pay back? Yeah. Yeah, refugees. Well, that's all craziness. Yeah. That's why everyone hoards gold. That's why everyone that's in this community has a couple little bitty bags of paydirt squared away somewhere. They know, okay, I got to get my wealth somehow, somewhere for somebody else, for these crazy times. Did it call it Ice Baby? No. I don't remember what he said his business was, but it was just the funniest thing. I was like, dude, come on. I mean, just like the simplest of searches would tell you that, he was getting it sent to his house. You could Google, look up the street, and there was no business, He didn't have an LLC in the name for that. He didn't have anything. It was just some dude just like, yeah, I own a company, because if there was under a certain amount, you didn't need to have bank statements or anything. Once you got over $1 million, they wanted proof of a bank statement online. Yeah, it's like, yeah, how hard is that to print up a fake bank statement? Some more gold. Never received anything during COVID. Yeah, and it's crazy. Like I remember, so when Katrina hit New Orleans, they were, the government was doing where they were giving people money for stuff like that. And I had a storage thing in New Orleans that got flooded, and it had some stuff in it, but it was all stuff that had no value, like pictures and stuff like that, nothing that was worth anything. And it was funny because they actually contacted me, and I don't know if it was FEMA or who it was. And they were like, they sent me an email, a letter, and they're like, oh, you can declare this and this and this and get so much money. Do you want it? I was like, yeah, I'm going to take $1,200. And I think that's what it was $1,200. So I told them, yeah, I applied and put it on there. And the thing was, they sent it to me with the address of where the property was damaged, which was an obvious storage. You could see it's called like Bob's Storage or something like that, the storage is. So I took the $1,200, and then 2 years later, they email me, and they're like, oh, we need you to call this number because we're having problems with the money you got. And I was like, okay, so I called the number. And they did this huge interview, and the guy's like, oh, did you know that the property wasn't a house? And I'm like, yeah, it's a storage place. Of course I knew. It had my storage stuff in it. And they're like, oh, well, we're only trying to give money to people that had houses and housing damage. And I'm like, well, you never said that. You just sent me a letter saying if I wanted to collect for the damage done to my property at so-and-so. I mean, they ended up not taking the money back from me or asking for it back, but he was like, you weren't supposed to get that money. And I'm like, well, no, you asked me if I wanted money for property damaged here. They should have learned from that fiasco, There's Culver. What's up, Culver, brother? So you still out of Paydirt, man. I don't know what to do with you, man. I keep wanting to get my fix of Culver Paydirt, and you're never in stock. I think everybody said if they win, just to give it back to myself. So I could pay for my plumber. And Culver, I'll be sending you the tracking number on Patreon later tonight. Your package shipped out yesterday, so it went out by UPS. So YouTube sucks on flagging. So I will tell you. So in my 9 years, I've only been flagged twice. So I had one. It was actually a Paydirt review that somebody filed a claim on it, and the video got taken down. It still never went back up. I just gave up. The guy went out of business like the same month, so I didn't bother fighting it. I have email sales going. Well, that doesn't help my secret shoppers. And then the other time, which really, really aggravated me, is so, and this is YouTube, and it's, trying to rip people off just like bigger companies. I bought a song to use on a video. I listed the song on there, when you have to tell it, this is a song, it's in here. But then I never made the song I've never made the video public. I just uploaded it, and then I started watching it, and I realized I had made a huge error in the video, so I deleted the video, fixed it, re-uploaded it, and they wouldn't let me use the same song. They said it had already been used, the one I had purchased. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy it again. So I went back and bought it, posted the video. It was like, and this was like an hour before it was premiering on a Saturday, which is one of the reasons why I stopped doing premieres. So the video comes up, it premieres, and then like the next day, so it was a Saturday. And so the next time I logged in, because usually Sundays with my kids and I never do anything on my computer, Monday I log into my YouTube, and they're like, oh, your video can't be monetized, because I forgot to click that button that told them that I had paid for the song, even though they know I paid for the song because I bought it through them. And they demonetized the video. So that I have one video that still to this day was never be able to be monetized because they said I didn't buy the song, even though I can't buy it now. It's just such junk. YouTube, and it's junk. I've been selling private through email, or I get flooded. That's a good thing, I think, You need to just change it to just custom bags of Paydirt. Put it on your website, custom bags of Paydirt. Don't even put up all the rest. Just have like custom Paydirts, Because that's what, who was it? Who used to do that? Tommy Knockers. I think Tommy Knockers was the one that did that. Where what you would do is you would just fill out a thing. It would be like for 1 gram bags of Paydirt. I don't think he had any other variety of it. And he had a whole bunch of drop-down menus where he'd ask for all this stuff, and he'd be like, okay, we'll email you. And then it would just send him an email. And then he would send you an email back, oh, I'm out of stock. Or he'd send you an email, okay, I can do this. I'll make this bag of Paydirt for you. I'm almost positive it was Tommy Knockers that did that. Waiting for funds for a Culver bag? Yeah. I will say that's usually the way things go for me, is I will say, okay, let me go through my secret shoppers and set up some lists, and I'll look through all the Paydirt sellers. I'll say, oh, Culver's out of stock, and, this seller's out of stock, and this seller, so I'll go with these other sellers. And then I'll be totally broke, send out all my money, and then like a week later, I'll go look, and every one of the ones that was sold out is now in stock again. I'm like, dang it. Yeah. See, I have a good idea every once in a while, every blue moon. I should probably reward myself with a good swig of coffee that's getting cold. I forgot my coffee on the other side of my table and forgot about it. I mean, I don't know what your shopping cart system will set up, but you know, I know it does. I'm pretty sure it has allows you to do drop downs for the like to add more paydirt or something. You can just add, you know, make it more difficult, make it easier, and then just have them email you. That's a nice little picker. It's got a little bit of twang to it too. Backyard always has entertaining. Yeah. I just really wish I need to find a better place to buy songs because generally I buy all my songs from YouTube, but YouTube just I don't know what they did. Maybe they must have just lost the rights to a ton of songs because I had a whole bunch bookmarked with them, like 100 different songs that I planned on using, and every one of them either cannot be monetized now, or they're changed it to where it's only monetized for the first like year. Then after that, it goes to the publisher, and I'm like that. If I'm buying a song, I want it for life, you know. So I'll probably have to find somebody new. But then the thing that sucks is if you use, like if I use YouTube and I buy the songs, it's automated. So if I tell them it's not automated, but if I tell them I bought it through you, then I don't have to worry about them later on a year from now or 2 years from now saying, oh, did you buy that song? Whereas if I buy a song from like beats.com, if there's ever a charge, if somebody ever says, oh, you don't have the rights to that, I have to go through all the rigmarole of the song being, the video being taken down while I wait for it, you know. Utah mining. Well, you got your 24 pieces of gold, brother. 3 gram of Vendetta's new Paydirt. Oh, is that the new like skull one or Dead Man's? Is that the one that was Dead Man's? Everyone's been using the like the death theme lately. Is that the new one? I will say I've got so this Saturday I've got the Gold Baron coming out, but then next Saturday I do have Vendetta's Paydirt coming out, the one with no guarantee in it. So I'll be really curious to see what's in that one. So maybe I have to ask him and see where he's getting his music from. I guess I could probably look on just his videos and see where he's getting them. Maybe if it's free, I won't complain. Well, don't they charge you for shipping? Because it's not really free. I think I did the math once before, and they were still making money off of them. I haven't looked at them in years, though. Because it used to be $1. Like, it used to be $1. Like, you would pay, I think it was $1 or $2. Maybe it was $2 for shipping. And you figured out the envelope was like 10 cents, and the stamp was like 34 cents, and then it was like $1 worth of gold. And it was like, okay, so it cost them $1.50, and they're making 50 cents off of it. You know, it wasn't much. It wasn't. They weren't making a killing, but you know. Charles King, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. I appreciate it, brother. He uses Suno. Here, let me go write that down. And yeah, I don't mind paying premium because like I said, I used to just use all the free music on YouTube, but you get tired of using the same music over and over and over. So now I generally buy it, and it's, you know, $5 per video. You know, so put out 2 or 3 videos a month, you're paying $15. So, you know. I have an extra Baron sticker. I don't even think I have a Baron sticker on my door. I don't know. I have to look. I have to go see. I haven't watched, and I hate to say this, but I haven't watched one of his videos in a while. Just because he does reviews, and you know, I'll have to go back and look at one of his eBay reviews since I almost never review eBay stuff. All right, now we're getting all the gold. All the gold was at the bottom of the pan. Yeah, we'll have to look. One of my buddies I've been helping work on his website, he's got me doing so much stuff with Chat GPT, and I absolutely hate it. uh, but I will definitely check it out and see. Because like I said, I don't know what it is about YouTube, but almost all their category of music just got delisted. I guess it was like 3 or 4 months ago I did the Grateful Dead. I think I did 2 videos that had the Grateful Dead in it, or I had a battle where both of the Paydirts had Grateful Dead songs in it. And they had almost the entire Grateful Dead for $5. You could buy any of their songs for $5. And now not a single one. They don't have a single one. I don't know if it was just some mess up where they were like, had all these, singers stuff on there that they weren't supposed to. But now it's like all gone. So you're welcome. Thank you for being a Patreon member, Jeffrey. I appreciate it. I'm tempted by that Vendetta. Yeah. I really wanted to review it sooner, but I kind of got backlogged on other stuff. And, it's one of the problems where if you buy your Paydirt too early, it can end up sitting there. Like I have a bag behind me that I've been trying to review since last year. And it's just been sitting on there. And by the time I review it, this gold spot's going to be like 90. And gold spot's going to, by the time I review it, gold spot will be like 150. And that one will be at 90, So I try to, not work too much, but sometimes, sellers drop something new that's super cool that I have to do a review on, I have to get it out there sooner. So PA, you're way too kind, brother. You're way too kind. That's why you're definitely going to be my VP, right? So, but yeah, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, I will have that Vendetta bag. It was through a secret shopper, so there's no chance of it being a loaded bag just for me. So I'm going to be really curious about it. So, I love Vendetta. I love Vendetta's Paydirt, I will always recommend Vendetta's Paydirt. I would recommend that one even without having to reviewing it, but you always want to know. So I'm definitely really, really interested to see what's in it. I don't know if the spot I don't know if the price has changed because it was $200 when my secret shopper bought it. So I think Gold Spot, when my secret shopper bought it, Gold Spot was like 95 something. So, I'll be curious to see what the ROI is on it. Well, no, PA, you got to be honest, brother. You got to be honest. What you do is you'll accept everyone's Paydirt and you will verify it as gold, but you will ship it back to them. They just have to pay for shipping and your handling. And your handling is $500 per ounce of packaging. So if they send you 5 pounds of Paydirt and you pan it all out and look through the gold and you're going to send it all back to them, you're going to charge them $5,000 per ounce for all 5 pounds if they want it back, but that way you're being honest about it. So just send it back to them no matter what. Just make them sure they're paying for your shipping and handling. My clutch bags are now over 100% all right. Is that even possible? No. I was thinking about it the other day. I was talking to somebody that even bad sellers like Golden Paydirt, if you've had one sitting somewhere long enough, it's going to start being a good bag of Paydirt after a while at the rate gold's going up. And it's not like just gold is going up, like a little bit. Like usually when you used to watch it, you'd be like, oh, it's at 75.01. And then like 3 days later, you'd be like, oh my God, it's at 75.25. It's gone up 24 cents per gram. Nowadays, I look at it and I will have it on my computer and be like a 107 per gram. Leave, go get a coffee, come back, 108 per gram. It's like, what? It just went up $30 in 5 minutes. That's it, brother. I was telling my kids a story the other day. I said, you're going to start seeing this again. So everything makes a repeat. Every con makes a repeat. And back in the day, I don't know if people remember, but right when computers first started coming out, there used to be a company called Video Professor. And he was the first person to do a subscription service where you would order a free video and pay shipping and handling of $3.99, and they would send you a CD for your computer to teach you how to do Word or play a guitar or thousands of things. And then what would happen was it'd be impossible to cancel. It would take you months and months to cancel, and you're getting charged $49.99 a month to have them send you some CD that costs them $1, you know? And then all those things went out of style. And now they're back again with all these subscription services for all these companies where you even yoga pants are a subscription service now. And I said, no fault. But one thing that also was in the past was I told them they used to sell garbage products, like the Ginsu knives. They used to sell these knives and they would tell you they had a 100% lifetime guarantee no matter what. Because the knives are so cheap. And what would happen is the knife would break. They'd tell you it's free, just ship it to us, and then pay for shipping and handling return. And they'd tell you, oh, it's $10 to ship it back. You'd think, oh, free knife. You'd send it to them. It only cost them $1 to make the knife and $2 to ship it back to you. So they were making $7 on every cheap knife you sent back to them. And I told them, I said, one of these days, you're going to start seeing these things comes around again. People are going to start, you know. And I told them, all we had to do is take a video of a glass. You buy a glass at a store, you throw it at the ground. It's going to break. One out of probably every 100 won't break. And you just keep that part of the video. Say, I've got a glass, and if you drop it on the floor and it breaks, we'll replace it for free. And then just show me dropping the glass and have it bounce off the ground and not break, and say, see how tough our glasses are? I sell you that 6-pack of glasses, you know, dinner glasses for $40 and tell you, remember, if any of them ever break, we'll replace it for free. And then, of course, they're all going to break because they're glass and people drop them and they're going to break. But then you tell somebody, oh, yeah, it's $20 shipping and handling to have it replaced. You know, it's still free and people fall for it. People are like, oh, yeah, see, I'm getting this glass replaced for $20. That's it. You got to have something singing. You know, for $1 million, something's got to sing. I got one of Clash's first 100 bags. Was that the what was it called? His original website when Clash first opened, he originally had the oh, it was like the weed bag, whatever it's called, but I don't remember because I know that was a very limited edition. I tried to get one of those and I just couldn't get a secret shopper to buy one fast enough. And then he came out with the, you know, then he rebranded because he sold that. He did one run of that. No, it wasn't called Clash Dirt. It was called something else. I can't remember what it was, but he sold. So he had a limited run of I think it was 100 Clash Crumbs. That's what it was. Yeah, he did the Clash Crumbs, and he actually had the website clashcrumbs.com. And he sold, I think it was 100 bags, and then I think he came out a second time with 100 bags, and then now he did the. Now he's got his new website that makes, you know, all the money. And it's fun. So I went the other day. So I get his emails, of course, you know. I got his email the other day where he's like, oh, big batch of gold nuggets in it. And I was like, well, let me go look, you know, because maybe there's a heart-shaped nugget in there. And, you know, I've got, you know, I don't care who I spend my money on if it's a good deal. And the prices are just unbelievable. I mean, just, you know, for a 1 gram nugget, you know, which should cost like 110 plus maybe a 10% spot. It was like $150. And I was like, what the junk? It's not crystalline. It's not high carat. It's just some random nugget with a bad picture of it too. You know, it's like you'd think if he really wanted to charge those prices, he would spend some money and get a really nice camera and take nice pictures of it. But, you know, it's just a grift. So junky pictures, overpriced gold. Yeah, those are crumbs. I wanted one to review, but I like I said, never got it. Which probably would have been good because there had just been more people complaining that I'm jealous of Clash. So, Alex R, great dude, great dude. I need to check up on him, see how he's been doing. I haven't seen anything from him in a while. Kind of wish I hadn't given all my nuggets away. Mm. It was funny. So the other day I was on Facebook and I saw an old seller. I won't say which seller it was. They're no longer selling pay dirt, and they were in a discussion. Like somebody was posted something about the price of gold. So there we go. There. Before I talk about that, there we go. That's the pay dirt from the gold from Brian Thomas, and there's the gold from Goldbay. Goldbay's still a little dirty because I can't clean both at the same time, but there we go. Two little piles of gold. But anyway, so I'm on Facebook and someone was talking about how high gold had just jumped, how it just jumped up to 35. Like I think it had just hit 3,400. And they were like, "Oh, I know I should have never sold all my pay dirt. I was such a fool for selling my pay dirt. And all these people made money off of me and this and this and this." And I'm like, "You were selling gold too. So it's not like you were selling pay dirt as like, a charity thing, It's like you were selling gold too. You were selling gold on Facebook, telling people, oh, if you want to buy some gold because you needed money. It's the same thing. Over the years, I've sold so much gold. I've given away so much gold. But it's not because I was just like, if I sold gold, it was because I needed to make money. I needed something. I needed to pay a plumber or something else like that. It wasn't, and like how they were doing us all a favor by selling us pay dirt, and they could have just kept all that money for now it'd be worth this much. I'm like, you needed the money, don't lie. It was just such craziness. Chat with LXR, that's awesome. Yeah, the last time I talked to him, he was telling me about how good his daughter was doing in school and stuff, so which is always good. It's rough when you got kids. Sometimes kids take priority and then you get lost in other stuff and it's hard to come back. So that's how it all goes. That's 90% of the people who watch my channel are either, so probably about 25%. 25% of my viewers are old, where they've been in part of the community since the very beginning. And then the other 75% are probably, or 50%, probably 50% more, are people that come through Clash. And then the other 25% are just recommended YouTube or somebody tells them or something like that. But probably half of my subscribers come from people who watched Clash and thought, oh man, this is good pay dirt. Look at all these good pay dirts this man's recommending. And then they see my channel and they're like, oh wow, Clash is full of it. Hey Andy, how's it going? Music man in the house. Selling pay dirt was a good way to acquire gold cheap, saving all the big pieces. That's it. Yeah, I mean, I know. So I used to know a seller that used to buy a good seller, really good. She used to be a member of the community. She's since left and everything. But I mean, I knew where she was buying her pay dirt from. And like, if you bought her pay dirt, you would know where she was buying it from because it had seashells in it. And we all know where you get seashells from. But she would buy, 105% ROI bags. When those would come out, she'd buy 10 or 20 of them. And then sell her pay dirt with an 80% ROI. So, every bag, every time she'd do that, she'd make some gold for herself, and this is, and still have a business that was profitable. So, Jason G, how's it going, brother? All right. Yeah, now we got the gold over here in the pan. I'm gonna make y'all look at my ugly mug. So let me move everything back. All right. No, I'm not. Quest does do some good videos. In fact, I like his old videos. Before Quest started selling pay dirt, I had zero issues with Quest. I thought he put out good content. It was just once he started selling pay dirt that I think he kind of, it's a hard thing. So, but here, let me make y'all look at my ugly mug. There we go. So I can have everything set up or I'll forget and just be looking at something. All right, here we go. Yeah, I mean, like before Clash started selling his own pay dirt, he just did reviews. He was doing stuff. I mean, obviously he was trying to make money and he was doing content like the big bag buckets of pay dirt and stuff like that. You know, the $5,000 buckets and $2,500 buckets, because that's where he was making his money at. You know, that's where he was getting all his views from, is doing those. But he had a good channel and I liked his channel. I watched his videos sometimes, you know, if I knew I wasn't going to be reviewing the people or stuff like that. But once he started selling his pay dirt, and even not even in the beginning, it was just like once his pay dirt started selling a little bit, I think he realized that he could make a lot more money on pay dirt than he could off of videos. And that's why when, some of his videos came out and he started making money, he just disappeared for a while. Because there's certain things you can make money on, so. But, like I said, once he started selling pay dirt, I think it becomes, it's hard to trust somebody when they're doing a video and they're saying, hey, look, this is an honest review. This is an honest review of Bob's Bill's pay dirt. And it's not very good. I don't really like this pay dirt. I wouldn't buy it. But what I would buy is a bag of Clash pay dirt, or Miller Prospecting pay dirt. It just really makes it hard to believe that they're being honest, that they're using secret shoppers, are doing all this, when then at the end of the video, they're pushing their own pay dirt, And even if it's like not by saying buy Miller Prospecting pay dirt, but if you're saying, this was a sucky bag I got off of eBay, it's not very good, but I did calculate it as a 24 karat ROI because you can buy real gold, and they have people just like Miller Prospecting who buy gold for 24 karat prices. So make sure you go check out Miller Prospecting paydirtforsale.com, It's just a conflict of interest. It's one of the reasons why when I do sell pay dirt, and I do sell pay dirt occasionally, it's through Patreon supporters only. So these are not people and these are my secret shoppers. These are my people who are my secret shoppers. And I sell it to them exclusively just so it's a kind of like a discount for them being a member. So I don't really like the yard sales he does. I like his yard sales, but then again, I like watching a lot of yard sale stuff. I like watching Froggy and video seller, other YouTubers like that. So I don't mind his yard sale ones. It's just question of entrance protecting with me. Yeah. So, so I didn't mind those videos. I don't mind, his things like, mushroom videos or any of his other videos. Like I said, I just have a problem where, it's a conflict of interest to sit there and say you're giving somebody a good review and then push your own product at the end of it. It kind of just takes away any thought that it could be honest, But I mean, like I said, I do think he does do some good videos. I still, I liked his video that he did when he walked in the New York streets and pulled up all the dirt and stuff like that. But, yeah. So, and that's another thing. So if you don't know, I am going to, I think so this month, obviously I only have one video coming out this month, one more review, and that's Gold Baron. I have that coming out this Saturday. Next Saturday is going to be an Arizona month. I have a ton of Vendetta material to be panning out next month. I do have, in 2 weeks, I do have the big boy here, the Sonoma, $200 bag of pay dirt with no guarantee on that. But then the month after that, so in June, I am going to be doing a video on where to sell gold to, because it's been a while since I've done a video on where to sell gold to. I've got a couple new places where you can sell gold to. And I will try to give you most of their average ROIs or what they're offering. But I do hear a lot from some people that where they're selling gold to is a big name YouTuber, and he's not paying very good. I had somebody tell me, I saw it on Facebook recently. Somebody posted that they had sold an ounce of gold to the man that starts with a K, and he got 70% for it. 70%. And that's just horrible. So I wonder how much these gold prices will hurt the pay dirt business, buying and selling. It's going to hurt it. It's going to hurt it, I think. Because one, you have a lot of people so the reason gold is going up, one of the reasons is because, everyone's not, people are investing more in gold than they are in bonds, stocks, things like that, because they see how they're all going wishy-washy like this and that. And so people are buying and hoarding more gold. So gold is going to keep probably going up and up and up, which sadly means that pay dirt sellers is going to become the new lacrosse. of hobbies. You know, like if you could say, hey mom, I want to get a sport hobby, you say, okay, go play basketball. All I have to do is buy you a basketball, bam, $30. Go play football with your friends, $30 on a ball, you know. But then you tell your mom, hey mom, I want to go play lacrosse. You know, oh man, I gotta buy you this net stick thing that costs $150. I hate my kids. You know, that's what Paydirt is going to become, is the lacrosse, unless they start going back. Like I said it earlier in the video, in the live show, you weren't here, was I think sellers are going to have to go back to the days when they used to sell 1/8 gram bags of Paydirt and 1/4 gram bags of Paydirt and half grams. You know, I think those are going to go back to being the big bags that people are going to buy. So I think we all kind of got a little fat, especially me. I'm getting fatter and fatter every day because the cookies keep calling my name. But people kind of got spoiled, you know, buying 1 gram bags of Paydirt, 3 gram bags of Paydirt, and 5 gram bags of Paydirt. You know. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, my top 10, I am going to be updating it next month. So the next month I will be updating the top 10. Hopefully not too many people will move around too much, but some are going to move, I know. And I do double and triple check these people. Everyone, you know, it's not a top 10 list that's been there for 10 years. You know, I do check the top 10 every month. I probably don't update it unless something major happens, but so I do have Liberty, Washington Gold, Paydirt. I'm looking forward to do a review on. Oh, is that the who is the Liberty Washington Gold Paydirt? Because there's a company that I know that used to sell out of there that was never any good, but they used to sell. But yeah, so I think sales will probably stay the same if sellers make affordable Paydirt. So that's just going to depend on the sellers. You know, like if you just over the last probably 2 years, I've heard more and more people saying they can't afford Paydirt, and that's because the vast majority of Paydirt sellers selling 1 gram bags. That's like their minimum. Their minimum bag they sell is 1 gram. If a gram of Paydirt costs $110, shipping, extra sales, you're looking at $125. Back 9 years ago, people I knew were buying a bag a week, a bag of Paydirt a week, because they were buying a 1/4 gram bag every single week. They were spending $20. It was costing them $80 a month to buy 4 bags of Paydirt, pan out 4 bags of Paydirt, and these are all 1 pound bags. So I think sellers are going to have to, one, start figuring out a way to add more material, and then smaller amounts of gold to make it affordable. So people, you know, you want to be able to, like the Weekender that Gold Nugget sales just did. They're going to have to do more things like that where, you know, $60 out the door, you got 3 pounds of material, you got a decent ROI out of it. You know, it's going to need to be like that. If sellers don't change, then they'll just end up closing up. So, Swat Creek Mining. I don't know that one. All right, so if one of my mods want to drop the hidden link one last time. What, back in February? Oh, never mind. PA just dropped it. PA was reading my mind. Thank you very much, PA. So, all right, let's get rid of the pan and cam. Bye-bye, gold. And then we're going to... There we go. Put that. Yes, we're going to do the giveaway, pull a name from the comments. And again, this is for... What did I do with the prize? I don't even know what I did with the prize. Hit it over here. This is for spot number 3 of 7. So we're just pulling your name. Once we get 7 names, we'll give this away. It is a 1.6 ounce. 1.6 ounce. See, when I do silver and gold, I always mess up which one's which. But 1.6 ounce silver bar, $9.99. We'll be giving that away to somebody just for watching the live show. And then after that in the future, since gold's going up, I can't afford to keep doing gold prizes for these Tuesday ones. I'm going to start going back to giving away the Miller Prospecting gold-plated dimes. But we'll give one away every single Tuesday. So if you watch, you'll be able to get one of these. I might make up some special ones with Mercury gold-plated dimes if you're a Patreon member. But I haven't decided yet because those cost so much money. So, and then lastly, before we go on to things, remember, if you're a Patreon member, to guess the gold. If you're not a Patreon member and you want to join my Patreon, join my Patreon. You'll see some posts where you can get some gold. I've got some bags of Paydirt for the $5 members, $10 members, $25 members, and $79 members that they can win if you're the closest to the guest. And if you can't afford to be a Patreon member, but you still want to guess, you can join, and you can get a chance to win this little bitty bit of Mexican gold. So there's a little bit of Mexican gold on there. So that's for my Patreon members. And now let's get Swat Creek Mining. I don't know. I'll take a dime. So, but then, like I said, with the gold-plated dimes, what did I do with it? Once I make up enough of these, I will start just sending them out to my Patreon members, so they can replace the ones on the old flips that I sent them. So we'll have to see. Eventually, it'll take me a while to get them. I only have 5 of them made up, and I've had it for like a week. So it was like 1 a day. So dime bags as well. Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Back in the day, you'd see 10th gram bags of Paydirt, 1/8. I mean, that was the norm. And I hate to see it because I really do like the 1 grams. I think 1 gram is a perfect amount, but not at this cost. At $125, like, 1 bag of Paydirt is essentially 1/10 of the income I take in. I mean, that's just unbelievable. If I didn't have my Patreon channel, I would close up shop that day. I still have both my gold-plated dimes. Well, you might get another one. Might just take you 6 months, but you'll get another one eventually. I got 200 cards, so I can give about 100 of them away to my Patreon members. I got to get more dimes. I don't have any dimes. That's another problem. I don't have any more gold-plated dimes. So, yeah, but everyone has them in the old flips. These were the first ones. Like I said, these took me 3 months to get made. I mean, it took them a month to ship them and get them to me, and unfortunately, they're wrong. So, once I get rid of these, I'll have to get some more made up. GS prospecting. Oh, yeah, they are. Instead of a picker on a sticker, it's a picker in a card. Yeah, well, see, that's why originally when I designed these, that's what I wanted them for. I wanted them for so I could either put a gold-plated dime in it, so on Tuesday live shows I could go back to doing a daily or, every night give one away. And then also to put some gold in them for, because it's not much gold. I think this piece weighed like 0.07 or something like that. But, it's a nice little giveaway just to give, and it doesn't cost me an arm and a leg, like a bag of Paydirt does. And this I can ship. See, this I can throw in an envelope and ship for $1. This I can throw in an envelope and ship for $1. If it gets lost, oh well, too bad, so sad. But, if I give somebody a bag of Paydirt, it's $5, $10 just to ship it. And, this whole thing cost me about $5. So, it's a better deal for me, But, all right, here we go. It's going to... If you haven't already, make sure you go. I just dropped the hidden comment one last time. Make sure you go leave a comment. We're going to go. We're going to do the giveaway. So let me make sure I get everything set up right. Let me go. Make sure everyone's comments are going through. Oh my, they changed it up. All right, nothing was held. That's good because they changed it all up. Now I'm confused. All right, there we go. Go here. You can close this. And there we go. All right. Yeah, make sure you like the video too. You got to get that good luck in. So. But, all right, let's do this. Let's shrink down the ugly mug. Let's do the giveaway. And again, as always, YouTube and the affiliates have nothing to do with this giveaway. This is 100% by me just to give back to people who are watching me on the live show, putting up with the ugly mug. And as always, if I do pull your name, you must post something in the live chat before the end of the show to claim your prize. So, and the end of the show is in like 5 minutes. So you don't have a ton of time. But, all right, let's shrink down the ugly mug. Do the giveaway. And yet again... these days. I'll put some transitions on this thing. There we go. Shrink down the ugly mug. And there you go. The best website on the interweb. MillerProspecting.com. Top 10 recommended sellers. links to my YouTube, Patreon, Facebook, my Reddit account, which I've never put anything on. If you want to email me, it's right here. My last 3 videos, the last one being Dave's High ROI, which we've done a ton of this Mexican Paydirt this month. My last 100 reviews, Goldbay. The last one, the Mexican, was a 98.02% ROI. And before that was Paystreak Prospecting's 84. If you want to know where you could sell some gold, I buy gold. Just hit me up here. Just click that and it'll take you to sell gold. And now let's go to the YouTube comment. There we go. Let's go here. Let's fetch. Good luck to everyone. No replies. 58 comments. All right. So you got a 1 in 58 chance of winning. There we go. Fickle Prick. Didn't he say he was leaving? I think Fickle Prick said he was leaving. But we'll give him a few minutes, but I think he said he was leaving. Gold Paydirt reviews. There we go. Ooh, prettiest site ever. Prettiest site. Look at all the work that went into this beauty. And I still have another spot that's coming up here soon, but I just haven't had time. I've been helping a friend build his website, and it's taken away from my website, but I'm going to try and get that done this month. Or I mean next month. But all right, let's Ugly Mug full size time. Let's see if Fickle Prick is still here, if he left. I think he's left. Oh no. I think he left. I think earlier in the chat he said he was leaving. But, oh well. If he doesn't show up, we got a few minutes. If he doesn't show up, again, we'll just give 2 spots away next week. So, we can't redraw, because if I redraw, he'll show up. Someone will be texting him saying, hey. So, S-Rip, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. I know I've probably seen you here earlier and didn't say anything. Or I did, but thank you. So again, yeah, Saturday I will. So this Saturday I will have a brand new Paydirt review coming out. Gold Baron, his 1 gram bag. And he said he was going to do something, but I don't know. So, but Fickle Prick Prospecting, if you're here, if you're listening, you won. I need you to post something in chat. Next Tuesday, what are we going through? Next Tuesday, we're going to be going through a custom bag of Gold Baron Paydirt. So nice custom bag I had custom made just for me from from Gold Baron Paydirt. It won't have an ROI. I won't be able to do an ROI on it because obviously he knew it was going to me. Cause, you know, I was being a big pain in the butt, telling him what I wanted it and make it super easy because I could barely pan and all that. A collector card, yeah. You know. I know, but see, I can't do that because then it's not fair because everyone would just phone in. So, and I've said this before. So if you're not in chat, you can't collect a prize. You can't give it away to somebody else. Because one of the reasons why I make people post in the live chat is because it used to be people would join the show in the very beginning. They would make a comment in the hidden video and they'd leave. And at the end of the show, I would go from like having, you know, at the very beginning of the show, in the first 5 minutes, I'd have 60 people watching. And then at the end of the show, I'd have 10. And they would be winning prizes. And I didn't like that, so we changed it to this model, so now they have to be here to win. So it keeps people, if you want to win something, watch the whole show. I mean, I understand I'm not the best looking guy to look at, but if you want to win, you got to. So yeah, Gold Baron has some good shipping. You know, it's going through Amazon. Can't beat that, so. Amazon's pretty good at shipping. They're pretty fast, so. Steven Stark, you're so late. You're so late. We're doing the giveaway. You got like 3 minutes. We're waiting for, who are we waiting for? Fickle Prick Prospecting. We're waiting for him. We're hoping somebody's going to tell him to hurry up and come post a comment. So, And it was Jason G. Jason G is the one that said he had to leave and to give it to his favorite. I don't remember who Fickle Prick said to give it to. But that was Jason G that said to give it to somebody else. So, but hopefully, like, we got a second or two, but we got 6 minutes left. But I think I can draw it out that long. So yeah, Saturday, Gold Baron Paydirt. Next Tuesday, Gold Baron Paydirt. And then the following week, we'll be starting the Arizona month. I will have a bag of pay dirt from Vendetta. Finally getting to this one, the $200 no guarantee bag of pay dirt that Vendetta put out. And then what else we got? We got somebody else that's got an Arizona pay dirt. I won't tell you who. It'll have to be a surprise. But we got another Arizona pay dirt. We've got lots of Arizona pay dirt here on the shelf to go through on the Tuesday. So we'll be seeing a lot of Vendetta next month. It's going to officially be my Arizona month, my Vendetta, I love you, brother, month. So have to head out. Have a good night. Well, thank you very much, Dorothy. I appreciate you being here. So I appreciate everyone who joined me on the show tonight. A last thing too, and make sure if you're a Patreon member, you guess the gold weight. Not this Tuesday, but the following Tuesday will be the end. We only got a couple days left. What is today? Today is the 22nd. So you got like 8 days until the end of the month. So make sure you go guess the weight. So you get a chance to win a bag of pay dirt. So everyone take it. If you're not a Patreon member, join Patreon. Easy peasy. If you want a guaranteed bag of pay dirt, only costs you $79 a month. If you don't want to spend any money, you still want a chance, there's a free membership. So you got that. Can you dry pan? No, I cannot. I cannot dry pan for the life of me. And I have tried too. When Vendetta did his 9-finger mining 1 gram challenge, and he did the dry panning, blowing panning, I must have watched that video a dozen times, tried to repeat it with my own stuff here in gold, and man, I just suck at it. I've tried dry panning with pay dirt where I just lazy and I'm like, I need some gold for something, like for a bag of pay dirt or something, and I don't want to set up my sink. I'll say, well, I can just dry pan it and I will dry pan and be like, okay, I think that's a gram, and it'll be like 0.25 or 0.3, and it's like, okay, so I missed 0.7. I gotta go get some water and pan it out properly. But no, I cannot. But then again, I don't really spend a lot of time trying. It's like once a year I'll try and say, oh, I should, and then I just give up and drop. And it's the same thing with, I have a whole bunch of gold pans that I'll say, oh, I'm gonna use this one. I try to use it, and it's like, okay, this sucks. Go back to old reliable. So, but all right, everybody, I think this is going to be it. I think I'm just going to get out of here, unfortunately for Fickle Prick. But next week, we'll just give away 2 spots. So next week, we'll give away 2 spots for the silver bar, which means the same thing. Maybe Fickle Prick will win it next week. I mean, he wasn't here, so if he doesn't watch the end of this video, he won't know. We won't remind him next week. Remember, don't tell him he won. So, but again, Saturday, new video coming out. Next Tuesday, we'll be going through some Gold Baron pay dirt, a custom bag of pay dirt. I don't even remember how much was in it. I just know it has a nugget in it, and that's it. That's all I remember in it. So I don't remember who, but someone was talking about doing videos dry panning and sleecing. Yeah, I wish somebody would. So text. What text? You didn't text me. You didn't text me. But I'll check. You might be talking about Patreon or something. So, but all right, everybody, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you very much for joining the live show. I will see you all next Tuesday, I hope. We'll go through some Gold Baron pay dirt after we'll talk about the review I just did on it. And then we'll pick spots number 3 and 4. So maybe Fickle Prick will win twice next week. So, but thanks everyone for joining the show. I really appreciate it. And thanks. And I hope everyone finds a ton of gold at these prices. Find as much gold as you possibly can. So thanks everyone. Have a great week. And I'll hopefully see you all next